Coming up on the South Florida High School Football Show, I'll look at several of the top 20 teams, including Coral Reef and Homestead. This week's recruiting segment focuses on the top wide receivers, and we'll preview a big game in Broward between Cypress Bay and Miramar. All of that and more coming up next on the South Florida High School Football Show. Hello once again, everybody. Welcome to the South Florida High School Football Show. Joe Zagacki alongside Don Bailey Jr. as we come to you from Dave & Buster's, your eat, drink, and play destination for serious football action. All right, coming up, we're going to have some great highlights of this weekend's games. First, we're going to take a look at some of the profiles of teams with this caution. Don't blame us, because the last couple of weeks we've mentioned several teams and they went out and lost.
That's right, Joe. The mojo's not us, trust me.
It's not our jinx. All right, time for the opening kickoff. First team up, we're going to go south and talk about the Broncos of Homestead, where they always play really tough football.
They do, Joe, and Coach Burrows has done a nice job. He's from down in that area, had some experience at Southwest and Southridge. They've got a good, powerful football team. 4-6 last year, not what they wanted, but they're 2-1 the last couple ball games. They're churning along. They're getting the offense rolling. They've got some defensive playmakers as well. A very good, solid team.
They had a couple of Division I players. Very good on defense. You mentioned that, especially in middle linebacker, where you have to be strong.
Well, what's nice about having strength at that position is it helps you in both sides. And what I mean by that, it helps you in the secondary, and it also can help your front four as well. When you have a guy that can roam sideline for just a sideline, he can make big plays and create opportunities for your defense.
Speaking of big plays, Ermon Lane, a wide receiver, a guy that can play at the next level. He's averaging his first couple of games well over 20 yards of reception.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about his yard per catch total, I would say to myself, can we get him the ball some more, please? When you're pushing in the 20s and 30s and 40 yards a catch throughout the first three ball games, this guy is special. He's explosive. He's got good sure hands. But what I like is he can make you miss.
All right, let's go to Broward County. District 15-7A Plantation is a very good team this year. Steve Davis is the head coach there. They've got a lot of athletes, and they've got a chance.
Well, they do, Joe, and anytime you have a quarterback that can put you in a position to win, which Coach Davis has, you've got an opportunity in every single ball game. When you have a quarterback like that, they're able to move the football at will. They've got great opportunity throughout a ball game to create big plays.
I love this kid's name, Sojourn Shelton. He's an outstanding defensive back. Right now headed for Florida State, and when you've got a player on the perimeter like that, you can shut down half the field.
Well, and literally you can. I mean, you line him up at corner, but a guy that's got that much speed, he can make up the entire secondary. So you really make sure that he's in the right angle throughout the ball game. If something breaks from the line of scrimmage, he can chase them down and he can make the play.
They are in the same district as St. Thomas and last year's district champ Cooper City. That's going to be a big game next weekend.
Well, it certainly is, and you talk about the luck or unluck of the draw. When you have to deal with both of those teams in your division and you have to play them, you know that it's a serious, serious contest.
Let's go back into Miami-Dade County and go down south to the big boy district. We're talking 8A, top 20 team, Coral Reef. And this squad, they were a playoff team a year ago. They've got a chance this season.
Well, that they do, and what's nice is being a playoff team last year, all the players, all the juniors and the sophomores that were pushed up from JV, they get that residual effect. They have the experience, they have the know-how, and they've been in the big game. Because it's one thing when you're playing during the season, but when playoffs come, as we both know, it amps it up.
All right, they lost 9 starters on defense, so that probably will tell their story.
Well, it does. It tells you, one thing is it tells you your offense better score some points. And really, the beginning of the year, when you're breaking in that many new starters, you've got to limit your calls defensively. You've got to slow down what you've got to do overall as an entire defense, because you have to allow those kids a chance to adjust.
They have a nice quarterback wide receiver combination that is experienced, and those two kids are in sync with each other.
Well, what's nice about that, Joe, and I'll use your word, when you're in sync as a receiver and a quarterback, you see things that other people don't see. You have a feel for that relationship. And what I mean by that is you can read coverage, meaning the quarterback's able to read the coverage and the receiver is. So there's no miscommunication. That's when the big plays come in because they've got the experience together.
Coral Reef played South Dade this past weekend. The heart of their schedule is coming up in October. Of course, there were some great high school games played this weekend. And for the highlights, here is Joe Rose.
Thanks, Joe and Don. Well, let's go to Friday night. Big games in both Dade and Broward County. Let's start at Trask Powell. Here we go. The Bulls were 3-0, but the Chiefs not impressed. Down 7-0 in the first half. William French catches a short pass. Great move to the outside. He's off to the races. Cuts it back. 60 yards later, he's tied the game at 7. What a run. The Bulls come back to take the lead in the second half. How about this 11-yard run by Darius Tice? What a great effort to get across the goal line. That's strong running, 14-7 Northwestern. But the Chiefs respond with 13 unanswered points. Quarterback Hakeem Jones powering in from a yard out for the go-ahead score. Carroll City pulls the big upset of the weekend, 2014, the final. Back up to Broward. Western hosting Everglades in Davie in a battle of unbeaten teams. First quarter, Brayon Parrish gets the Wildcats on the board. 6-yard run for a touchdown, 7-0 Western. Then after a third Everglades turnover, Parrish makes the Gators pay. Bust loose for a 40-yard touchdown run. Nobody's going to get them, 14-0. Western rolls big, 34-13 to stay perfect, 3-0 on the season.
Check out SouthFloridaHighSchoolFootball.com where you will find recruiting overview powered by Larry Bluestein, review the weekly top 20, preview the top games in Dade and Broward County, catch up on Shaquille Jackson's blog and game recaps, nominate candidates for Player of the Year and for High School Teacher of the Year. Catch any of this season's TV shows you may have missed, plus a whole bunch more.
The South Florida High School Football Show is brought to you by Metro PCS, the U.S. Army, BP Gasoline, U18 Sports Medicine, Adidas, Sir Pizza, South Florida Chevy Dealers, Tico People's Gas, and Dave & Buster's.
A few years ago, I decided to push myself further. College, graduate school, degrees in aeronautics and engineering. And I learned that being my best means getting the best from everyone around me. Becoming an Army officer taught me to set high objectives and quickly rise to meet them. Kinda like a rocket.
An Army officer learns to reach new heights and inspires others to do the same. Can you? Find out at goarmy.com/officer.
They watch me all the time. And I think my mom found my stash of Sir Pizza boxes.
My parents are totally convinced that my ranch dressing habit is becoming a serious problem.
I told them I only eat squares and with only crumbled bits of pepperoni. They say that's how it all starts.
They just don't understand how good it is. A special blend of cheese, the sauce, the crunchiness, the dough.
But I can totally stop whenever I want.
It's not a problem. I'm in complete control.
.9 is a breakthrough. 6.9 is a physics lesson. 6.9 is the outer limits. 6.9 is an explosion. Uh-oh, he just got faster. Wait, how'd you know that? 6.9 is ounces, and that makes this the lightest ever.
The recruiting segment is brought to you by Metro PCS, wireless for all.
The South Florida High School Football Show continues. Joe Zagacki with Don Bailey Jr. coming to you from Dave & Buster's, your eat, drink, and play destination for serious football action. Speaking of serious football action, time to get into some serious recruiting action with Larry Bluestein. And this week on the show, we're going to talk about a great position in Dade and Broward County. That is wide receiver.
Oh, it's special, Joe. And what's amazing to me is the assortments and the types of wide receivers that are available in South Florida. You've got the smaller, quicker guys, the water bugs, so to speak, and the Smurfs that some people really desire to have on their football team. Then you got the guys, the long guys, the 6'3", 6'2", 6'1" guys that can stretch the field. What you really want to do is find that special one. You want to find the guy that was the Andre Johnson, the big, fast one, because those are the ones when you can run by everybody and then you can bully the guys in the secondary. They are the prized possessions because they can not only change a game, but they can change a season for a football team.
You know what helps the receivers down here? Two things. weather and 7-on-7.
Well, you're right about that, because the 7-on-7 drills, they have taken off and they have increased the amount of reps that receivers get running precise routes. And if you're a big, strong guy or a talented receiver, years and years ago, you just went out and ran by somebody. That doesn't work anymore. The competition now is year-round in these 7-on-7 drills, and you are matched up man-to-man facing a cornerback who is equally as athletic as you, so you better know how to run your routes. And it's paid off, because the passing games have certainly graduated from where they once were.
Do you know what the quarterbacks in South Florida do with wide receivers?
I'm just waiting to find out, Joe.
They dial them up. They dial them up on their Huawei 4G Activa. This is our Metro PCS recruiting segment. So we're going to dial up old Larry Bluestein and find out about these receivers.
Joe, Don, I got to tell you, when you talk about receivers in South Florida, I mean, think back, the Andre Johnsons of this world. I mean, amazing. And I have three good ones. First of all, in Dade County, we got to start it out with one of the top ones. And this kid is going to be a big-time prospect. He's already committed. This is a guy, Jesus Wilson, Florida State University commit from Christopher Columbus. This is another one of those guys that could take it. I mean, he's a kick returner. He's a slot kid. He's a receiver. I like him so much because he's a kid who's been playing this game at a high level, even back to the youth football leagues for a long time. The other wide receiver I want to talk a little bit about is Terrence Alls. You don't hear much about Dade Christian, but this is a kid that's been getting it done for 2 years. He plays safety also, but what a great wide receiver. He turns the tide in just about every game. Big time plays, gets up, fast. I like him. I like him a lot, and I've liked him ever since he was a sophomore. Like I said, he makes the difference. Our third receiver in Dade County is actually a guy who could probably play cornerback, safety, or at 6'2", 190 pounds, play wide receiver, and that's Lamar Robbins. This is a guy that started out last year, and everybody was looking at him after he came in from South Dade and say, wow, this kid, when he gets bigger and stronger, he could be something special. Well, guys, he has arrived. He's one of the top prospects in the state of Florida, whether it be on defense or, as we said, on offense as a wide receiver. He gets the job done all the time. Moving into Broward County, well, I can tell you without hesitation, this is one of the best wide receivers in the nation, Stacy Coley, all 6'2", 190 pounds. How can you not think? I mean, he could go up in traffic and come down with three guys on him. He has the speed, he has the acceleration, he knows how to run routes. He's just one of those guys that comes along not too often, and I like him a lot. We've been on him since he was in 10th grade. Speaking about being young, Jordan Cunningham 2 years ago in the state championship game for University School, 10 catches, 170 yards at a state championship game as a sophomore. Things haven't changed. He's progressed. He's gotten bigger. He's gotten stronger. I can't say enough about his productivity. He's a big-time prospect. And one of the last guys I'm going to talk about in Broward County is Alex Montgomery. At 6'1½", 200 pounds, he's a Wake Forest commitment, but this is one of those guys that goes up in the traffic. This is the one that you want to have a jump ball with. He's physical. He does a lot of good things. I'm telling you, I know that everybody keeps talking about the 2014 and 2015 classes in South Florida when it comes to wide receivers, but guys, you got to look at this talent. I just gave you 6 guys that are going to be playing on Saturdays and maybe Sundays.
Thanks, Larry. Tico People's Gas. Before you pick up the shovel, pick up the phone, call 811. Tico People's Gas is awarding the Player of the Year award to one player in Miami-Dade and one player in Broward. To nominate a player, visit SouthFloridaHighSchoolFootball.com. Look for the Tico Vote Here icon. Nominations are open until November 30th. Players take home a beautiful crystal trophy, and the schools that vote the most receive a $500 donation. The winners will be announced during our National Signing Day TV show on February the 6th.
The Sports Medicine Timeout is brought to you by U18 Sports Medicine, your sports medicine provider for the young athlete.
We continue now in the South Florida High School Football TV show. Time now for our U18 Sports Medicine Timeout as we come to you from the Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital here in Coral Springs at the U18 Sports Medicine facility. And joining us now is Dr. Jeremy Frank. And this week's topic, Dr. Frank, is the meniscus injury in the knee.
Yeah, the meniscus is a very important structure inside of the knee. It absorbs the shock that's transmitted from the thigh bone to the shin bone whenever an athlete's running, jumping, cutting, or pivoting. And if someone has an injury to the meniscus, they'll know because they'll have swelling in their knee, pain, and perhaps locking, the inability to bend or extend their knee.
Now, some of our young athletes watching this have seen some of the professionals that they idolize with the same injury.
Yeah, Alex Rodriguez, a variety of the Miami Marlins players have had meniscus injuries that do require arthroscopic cleanup.
All right, so if you have to have the arthroscopic surgery, you have a great facility here. Take us through that procedure.
Well, surgery is a same-day procedure. You come in, you go home the same day. It usually takes about half hour to an hour. Physical therapy can last anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks, upwards of 3 months, depending on what's done. And usually we're able to get the kids back to the field to play at the same level as they were before.
ACL injury might take you a year to rehab from, but not a meniscus injury.
No, it's much shorter recovery for meniscus than ACL.
All right, Dr. Frank, thank you very much for being with us.
Thanks.
We appreciate all of the information.
The Teacher of the Year Award is brought to you by the South Florida Chevy dealers. Chevy runs deep. The South Florida Chevy dealers will be recognizing outstanding educators and handing out $4,000 in donation. Help us by nominating a high school teacher for the 2012 South Florida Chevy Dealers High School Teacher of the Year Award. Chevy will award a crystal trophy to one teacher in each county, plus each teacher school wins a $2,000 general donation. Visit SouthFloridaHighSchoolFootball.com to learn how to nominate a teacher for consideration. We are accepting nominations until January 16th. Winners will be announced February 6th. More of the South Florida High School Football Show after this.
The Chevy Cruze Echo also offers 42 mpg on the highway.
Actually, it's Cruze Eco, not Echo.
Just like either. Or either.
Or economical.
Or economical. Potato, potato, huh?
Actually, it's tomato, tomato.
Oh, that's right.
See your South Florida Chevy dealer. That's 42 miles per gallon highway on the fuel-efficient Chevy Cruze Eco. Come on in today and check it out for yourself.
Eco Peoples Gas presents Make the Call.
Hey, what's Bert digging up?
I don't know, planting a tree?
Did he call 811, before he started?
It doesn't sound like it.
Before you pick up the shovel, pick up the phone. Dial 811 and get your utility lines marked for free. Avoid the fines. Don't hit the lines. If you hit a utility line, you can interrupt your service and your neighbors too. Know exactly what you're digging yourself into. Call 811. Brought to you by Eco Peoples Gas.
Rhapsody puts millions of songs on your Metro phone, so you can create your life soundtrack. That's why everybody's moving to Metro.
The Coach of the Week is brought to you by Adidas. All in.
Welcome back to the South Florida High School Football Show. Joe Zagacki with former University of Miami center Don Bailey Jr. A reminder, mark your calendars. Next Sunday, September 30th, our show will come your way at 11:30 a.m. A special time. Next Sunday, we kick off at 11:30 a.m. right here on NBC6. Time now for the Adidas Coach of the Week. Don Bailey Jr., let's go to Miami-Dade County, the north part of the county, Norland High School, a terrific head coach, Daryl Heidelberg.
Well, that he is, Joe, and he's got the Vikings running again. Last year they won a state championship, but one of the greatest compliments that I could give Coach Heidelberg is the fact that, yes, Norland has had talent. Yes, they have won, but when you send young men that have great talent in high school and they are week one ready in college football, like Duke Johnson and Eric Flowers have been at the University of Miami, that tells you how well prepared they are in high school.
He was an all-county quarterback when he played in Norland, so he does a good job of developing quarterbacks.
That he does, and he understands protections. He understands how to get everybody involved in the offense to make it productive and explosive. And this year, of course, he's learning how to win with a lot more defense. Coach Heidelberg's done a phenomenal job there.
The Adidas Coach of the Week. Adidas, all in. Here's Brian Saul with Coach Heidelberg.
Well, thanks, Joe and Don. This week's Adidas Coach of the Week, the defending 5A state champion head coach, Daryl Heidelberg. Coach, how's it feel to be the defending champ?
Man, it feels great. It is even sweeter considering that we were the only team from down here to get it done. So it feels great, but that's behind us now. We're on to a new chapter, new year, and hopefully we can repeat.
Yeah, a new chapter. You lose some great players, Eric Flowers, and, of course, Mr. Football, Duke Johnson. I'm sure you get reminded of that all the time. How has this team regrouped? Have you seen people stepped up this year that were kind of in the background last year?
Most definitely. I mean, those guys, if they did nothing else for the team, you know, they showed us how to win. So we have guys on the team that are trying to follow in their footsteps. And like I tell my guys, it's nothing wrong with, you know, being the next Duke or the next Eric. You know, those guys are tremendous players, and they got their work done in the classroom. They graduated early. So, I mean, it's not a knock just to follow in their footsteps. And I preach that to the team because that's the type of program that we're trying to build, not just have one team, but just a program that's going to continue to go year in and year out.
And year in and year out, Coach, you're an offensive-minded coach, but the defense you have coming back, I mean, it is phenomenal. Many people say one of the best in the state. How does that change your offensive game plan and knowing that you have such a talented defense?
It does slightly, just because of the fact that I know in some situations where I had to go for it, and that was going to be a determining factor in the game. We will punt. Put it on the defense. I mean, I root for the defense probably more than I do for the offense, actually, because I don't want nobody to score. So, you know, with that being said, the defense knows, you know, it has shoulders and broad shoulders, and they know that we're going to lean on them, especially early in the season, until we get guys to step up and we gel as an offense. So the defense understands it's on them this year. And hey, like I said, we averaged a lot last year, had a lot of exciting players, so, you know, it's their turn to win us one.
Coach, talk to us a little bit offensively. The chemistry's changed a little bit without having Duke on that team. Do you change your philosophy a little bit based on the talent that you have, or do you just have the next guy step up mentality?
The next guy has to step up. I clearly believe that it's a system that I run. Like I said, Duke's been there for 4 years, and they weren't all pretty in the beginning, but it was the same system. So I clearly believe that it's the system that we run, and if we get the right guys in it, they can flourish. You know, the system that we run is not really predicated on one guy just being the man. It's just that Duke just turned out to be an exceptional one guy. But if you look at his numbers, he didn't lead the county in carries. We maybe led it in yards, but not in carries. So that's something to think about. There were other guys contributing. The offensive line was great last year. They know what it takes. And that's just the beauty of what we're doing. You know, the guys, they know what it takes. So I don't have to do much coaching as when it comes to discipline. They can police themselves. So now it's just about scheming and putting guys in the right position, and hopefully they'll make the play.
Well, there you go, making the play Friday nights, hopefully all the way back to Orlando this year. If things work out well. This week's Coach of the Week, New Orleans head coach Daryl Heidelberg. Joe and Don, back to you guys.
Time now for the Play of the Week, sponsored by Sir Pizza. Good to the very edge. Belen at Gulliver Prep. Belen's quarterback, Ryan Murphy, off the play action to Alex DeBlasi, and he takes it the rest of the way. The pass, catch, and run. Good for 48 yards, and the touch altogether makes the Play of the Week.
Hi, I'm Laura Jormigis with this week's Army Bowl nominees, brought to you by the U.S. Army, Army Strong. Starting off in Miami, we have Matthew Thomas, a linebacker from Booker T. Washington. Thomas is 6'3", 201 pounds. As a junior, he recorded 117 tackles, including 13 sacks. He's a strong runner, moves well laterally, and closes on the ball well. Thomas has a ton of offers, but high interest in Alabama, Florida State, Miami, and Louisville. Up in Broward is the standout defensive end from St. Thomas Aquinas, Joey Bosa. Bosa stacks in at 6'5", 270 pounds. As a junior, Bosa recorded a total of 52 tackles, including 18 for a loss, and an impressive 8 sacks. This year, he looks to improve his lateral range and has a lot of room to grow into his frame and can only get better. Bosa has offers from many schools around the nation, including Alabama and Auburn, but he chose Ohio State.
The South Florida High School Football Show is also on Facebook and Twitter. Like us at SFHSFS and follow us at HSF Ball as soon as you can. You'll receive weekly updates from our insiders, news, announcements, and game day scoring updates from all over South Florida, plus deals and offers from our partners, including Sir Pizza, Sports Authority, Metro PCS, and many more. And we'll continue right after this.
At U18 Sports Medicine, our focus is on treating young athletes. Experienced pediatric orthopedic surgeons from Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital Department of Orthopedic Surgery work with the U18 staff to help meet a variety of needs: X-rays, MRIs, physical therapy, and much more. Our leading-edge facilities located at Memorial Hospital Miramar and Coral Springs are open year-round. U18 can help young athletes stay off the sidelines and on the field. A program of Memorial Healthcare System and Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital. Visit U18sportsmedicine.com.
It's Chevy Truck Month. Time to get in and grab a Silverado at your Chevy dealer where you'll get a great deal on the most dependable, longest-lasting, full-size pickups on the road. So gear up and get going. Get your hands on a legendary Silverado while the time is right. See your South Florida Chevy dealer. Now during Chevy Truck Month, get 0% APR financing for 60 months or trade up to get the 2012 Chevy Silverado Florida All-Star with a total value of $8,000. Hurry in before they're all gone.
The car on the left was filled up with low detergent gasoline, while the car on the right was filled up with BP gasoline with Invigorate, which helps clean and protect its engine, so it can get a few more miles per tank than the car on the left. Go a little farther with BP gasoline with Invigorate.
You need flooring? We'll call Don Bailey Flooring today for the lowest prices on the planet Earth. Brand names like Mohawk Carpet at 70% off and laminate starting at just 49 cents a square foot. Call Don Bailey Flooring today.
The keys to the game are brought to you by BP Gasoline with Invigorate, the preferred fuel of the South Florida High School Football Show.
Welcome back to the South Florida High School Football Show. Joe Zagacki, Don Bailey Jr. We're coming to you from Dave and Buster's, your eat, drink, and play destination for serious football action. We've got some serious football action coming up next weekend on the high school slate on Sports Radio 560 WQAM. Our broadcast game, it's going to be a good one. Cypress Bay taking on Miramar, two of the best coaches in Broward County with two of the top teams. Miramar struggling a little bit now. Cypress Bay under Mark Guandolo usually runs the wing tee, but not so much this year.
He's spreading it out a little bit, Joe. Coach Guandolo understands he's got to get some points on the board.
Miramar has struggled a little bit this year. I think you probably could see that coming because they lost so much talent. This is an opportunity for Damon Cogdill to get the ship going in the right direction.
Well, Coach Cogdill is taking this opportunity to groom the next group of great ones at Miramar High. As you mentioned, they lost some great D1 talent, and we're seeing a lot of it playing right now on Saturdays. And you can't lose those type of players and expect to just fill in that quickly.
All right, let's go into Dade County. This is a good old-fashioned North versus the South. It's Northwestern against Southridge. Two teams that understand the great tradition and pride of Dade County football. If you're Southridge, what problems is Northwestern going to create?
Well, Northwestern is a football team that likes to hold on to the football. They're a run-based offense. Coach Fields doing a phenomenal job. That's what he believes in. He spent time coaching offensive line and being around the offense. He knows what needs to be done there. At the same token, they are constantly working on mistakes and turnovers. They're becoming a more efficient team. They don't want to give the opponent any extra opportunities, and we know that the talent is there at Northwestern, and they've done a nice job adjusting to the coaching staff.
All right, well, don't forget, next week we'll continue to profile many of the teams in Dade and Broward County. We'll have some great previews for you, plus highlights and all of our recruiting information. That's all coming up next week, and we start at 11:30 a.m. next Sunday here on NBC6. For Don Bailey Jr., I'm Joe Zagacki. We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us.
The South Florida High School Football Show is brought to you by Metro PCS, the U.S. Army, BP Gasoline, U18 Sports Medicine, Adidas, Sir Pizza, South Florida Chevy Dealers, Tico People's Gas, and Dave & Buster's.
Only thing that I feel great about, gentlemen, is the feeling that you guys have right now. Clap it up for yourself. That's all that matters to me. It's not about me. It's about you guys. The only thing that matters is we leave here tonight learning from our mistakes. We get better tomorrow. We're about business. Shirt and tie to school. Y'all got that? Yes, sir. Everybody, if you don't miss school tomorrow.